There are so many models who are afraid or are still afraid to talk. And sometimes there are bad things happening. I think it's one of the good things with her is bringing people to speak up, to fight for their rights. And everybody has some rights somehow.
Exactly.
And it's great when there's an exchange as well. And it's publicity at the end.
And it opens a dialogue.
That cover,
of course. Yeah.
I'm sure there was. But it's one of the great models. Another great picture, very simple somehow. The light is amazing.
I love it. We recreated this light. This was actually shot in the evening. Recreated daylight in the studio. This was my first fashion shoot for El Quebec, and I worked with Denis Deveau, who was a great art director at El. And I love it. It reminds me of a summer day backlit Marilyn Monroe days.
That's a good example of when you said that the shooting, you don't really know what's going to happen. And that changed during the shooting. That's the last one. Tell us how it happened.
This here, it's Pamela, the pin-up girl that we saw earlier. We were in Jamaica. We were shooting in Montego Bay. It was a challenging day. It was shooting a fashion crew in Montego Bay. It's somewhat very, very energetic. And this was everybody was tired. At the end of the night, we were shooting and she was waiting. And this is, somebody called. She looked back, and that was the moment. And it's as honest as it is, as it comes.
What is for you a good model? What makes the difference? And I'm showing it with a very good model, Jessica Stan, a great Canadian model as well. What makes
a good model
such a special model?
Is a generous model. A good model. There's millions of models, or hundreds of thousands of models. Not every model is a model. There is a pretty face, and there's somebody who can get into the character, who could actually tell you a story with her look, with her body language, and whatnot. And a good model is somebody who connects with the photographer and knows what needs to be done, right? And also, I think a key to success on a good photography, a good photograph, is that the photographer has to cast the right model. But we always don't have the luxury to cast the best models because of many different factors. But yeah.
Can we talk about, is it the charisma, like for the actors? Is it the same thing, you would say?
I think
even though they don't talk, but it's even more challenging. They have to give a feeling without talking.
I think it's more, I think it's understanding their role, right? We're going to come to another model. I don't want to spoil it for the audience, but I'm going to explain it to you how she explained it to me what to do.
That's a great picture.
Thank you. This is Heather. Heather Marks, again, another Canadian model. She's from BC, also done fantastically well for herself. Great model. Heather, for example, contrary to other models, she's a model that will take good direction and will do that for you. She's not going to get creative. Coco Rocha gets creative. She is, all day she's going to give you 100 million different poses and movements.
She moves a lot on her shooting, I saw her.
Heather is not like that. Heather is, okay, what do you want me to do? We got to tell her, and she does it very, very well. And she's got a beautiful face. This here was, I love motor vehicles. I love motorcycles and cars, and I try to put them in any shot that I have.
You can, it's a very good motorcycle.
We were in Whistler, and we were lucky to get that. They brought it in a car, and actually the bike is not moving. The bike is stationary, and she is just flipping her hair, and we have an assistant in the back moving her dress, and the wheel movement, finally we did it in Photoshop.
Oh. Yeah, I wanted to ask you another question before talking about her, but we'll come back later because that's an important moment in your life. Because
that's correct, yes.
At one point you work a lot, you work in Montreal, then Toronto, and then contracts across Canada. And at one point in your life, I suppose everybody wants that, is to get to a higher level and become international. And there's a chance to photograph Lady Gaga. And it made a big change in your life.
It did. It did. Lady
what
Gaga.
year was it again?
I'm sorry?
In what year?
It was 2009. We, right about 2005, 2004, 2005, magazines started to change from models to celebrity because of the reality TV and celebrity culture and whatnot.
And Vogue started that movement
yes,
very
they
strongly
all,
with Anna
yeah,
Wintour as well,
they,
saying it's the new kind of magazine we have to
yeah,
do.
it was just better sales, right? You know, you put a celebrity on the cover, the average person would relate to them better because they see them on TV and whatnot, you know, instead of the model. A model was more aspirational, and this was more reality, right? So my first cover with the celebrity was Alanis Morissette. It was in Toronto. After that, many interesting talents, and up until 2009, I was assigned to shoot Lady Gaga in New York City. I knew of Lady Gaga. I did not know her music. I downloaded it on my phone on the way to the airport to listen to it in the airplane.
Did you like the music? I hope.
Yeah, some of them, yes, some of them. It wasn't really my genre, but some of it. So we got to the studio, and she came. What was interesting about this shoot was the timing of it. The timing was right before her music awards show, when she descended with the piano and Bloody and whatnot, you know.
The Grammy Awards.
Exactly, Grammy Awards. Yeah,
Yeah,
she exploded after that. Exploded. So this is a perfect example of the right timing, right? So we did that. She left the shoot. She during the photo shoot, she asked me to reserve one of the shots and don't give it to the magazine. So I talked to the art director, and she said, "Fine. If we stay for a little bit more to get our shot, would be no problem." So she ended up using that shot for her album cover, the one that she liked and reserved and whatnot. We were in communication after. But more than that, when this came out, it's really, because it went, and also living at the time that we live in now, because if this was 20 years ago, wouldn't have made that much of an impact. Now, with the social media and how easy it is for things to get viral, this went viral. And we started getting calls and emails and whatnot. Everybody wanted to either get part of this shoot or be a part of our team. And this cover,
the cover.
And this cover sold worldwide to many magazines, from Indonesia to Finland to France. It was on the cover of a French Glamour and many more.
How do you work with somebody who's famous? Because then the relationship is different. A model, you've known her through the years, or you know she's hired to do what you want. But in this case, it's different. Somebody that has an image, reputation, and I'm sure is demanding in a different way.
Celebrities is definitely different. It's they know what they want. They have a image to maintain. It's a collaboration. It's a collaboration, and you have to go as, you need to assure them that you are there in order to make them look good. This is number one rule for me, anyways. And once that is achieved, you could go to different places with them. But most of them, I mean, you have more harder people, softer people. Some of them are easier going. Some of them are not. Some of them, they come and they say, just do what you want. You know, I just want a beautiful image. What are we doing? Can we explain it to them? That's great. Okay, let's do it.
That's an example of what we call in the business a beauty shot, because there's
That's
fashion shots and a beauty shot. Is it more challenging? Is it something you like to do as well?
I love beauty shots.
Yes.
I love beauty shots because it's as simple as it seems, because you're concentrating on the face, and the body has much more places there. It's I think it's challenging, and it's for me it's very gratifying. I love it. I love doing beauty shots, especially a shot like this. We shot this in Paris at the Chanel salon at Place Vendôme, yeah, right on top, yeah.
Place Vendôme.
And she's wearing 8 million euros of Chanel jewelry with the guards and whatnot. And
it's all real.
Exactly. And this shoot, we actually, the model didn't show up. We were shooting on a Sunday, and the model didn't show up. So the first half of the day, we were trying to get a model, first of all, in there.
But nobody works on Sunday in France.
We did not know that. And that's it. It's, like trying to get an agent on Sunday.
Yes. So you found another girl, and
we found another girl, and the manicurist also didn't show up. So we found a manicurist who was working on another shoot down the street, we had to actually go and get I knew her because I worked with another place. So she came and she did nails for us and private.
That's a good thing to have experience and contacts. Yeah. Dress to Kill magazine.
Dress to Kill magazine, our local homegrown magazine here. We should be very proud of it. It's been doing very well.
8 years now.
8 years, yeah.
Amazing.
This is Grace Bahari. She's also a Canadian model who's done very well for herself.
I like the 80s style of the picture.
It's great, right?
We cannot tell when it was taken.
This was outside of my studio. Well, one thing we can tell that is Montreal is because of the orange cross.
You're right.
That gives it away. Besides that, it could be Brooklyn or Bronx.
I'll show that to Monsieur Coder. A great one. I love the light on that one as well.
Thank you.
Great model as well.
This was shot in Barbados, and we did this. I shot this through a mirror because it was humanly impossible to get that low to shoot it. So we laid a mirror in the front floor, and I shot right straight through it. And yeah, I love it. You know, she's part of the palm trees. And also the doily dress, the Dolce & Gabbana doily dresses.
Where do you find ideas like that, like putting a mirror and take the picture? You try to find solutions to experiment?
You know, we were there for another shoot. And I used the mirror. We had the mirror we were on a black beach. And we used the mirror in order to reflect the sunlight as a hard light to light the model. And we had the mirror in the van. And when we got there, I couldn't get down there. I go, what do we do? You know, it's going to give it a different texture.
I love that picture as well. There are so many we could look at. It's a great one as well.
This is a picture of Heather Marks, again, the girl on the motorcycle. A little bit more polished in here.
Yes.
And it was shot for a campaign for Bajli Mishka out of New York. I love it because and behind her there are staircases, right? But of the compression of the lens, it makes those beautiful lines with the gradation. It gives that some sort of a 1940s Art Deco feel. I don't know.
At what point do you realize that success happened? That your life is getting bigger?
I mean, it all depends what do you see success as, right? You know, I definitely feel fortunate. I feel blessed for what I have been faced with in my life. It's hard work done still now. A lot of hard work goes into it. But the reaction that I have gotten and to places that it got me, I feel very fortunate about. No doubt about it.
What I found great is through the years you decided really to stay in Montreal. You have your own studio in Varennes, and you could live. You work in London, New York, LA, and Toronto as well. And you could have decided, well, it's better if I'm in LA, and then I'll get even more contracts. But you decided to stay here in Montreal.
I love it here. I love Montreal. And life as a photographer includes a certain amount of traveling. You know, I would have to, no matter where I live, if I live in New York or LA or whatnot, I have to travel. I have a family, I have my children here, and I wanted my children to grow up here. I think that we're fortunate to have what we have in here. We have a dual culture in here. We have, like I said before, 2 languages. And it's just,
and we're close to everything.
I just think, you know, being Canadian is just a cool thing. It is.
I agree. That's another example of a shot that came out, and you know, it's a coincidence somehow.
This is we were shooting. This is Jessiane. I made many pictures with Jessiane. Great model. Another example of fantastic model. I was on a ladder. We were shooting this bird's eye view. And we created this bed in the studio, and I think the stylist wanted to go grab a bracelet to replace the bracelet and whatnot, and she was tired and she yawned. And I snapped the picture, and this was it, you know, and this is as real as it gets.
It leads me to the question I wanted to ask before, is what's the freedom you get now? Because we know that in the past, like 20 years ago, there was a lot more freedom for a photographer.
Yeah.
And now there's maybe a bit less. What's the freedom you get? Because since you are a known photographer and people can trust you more because you're not a beginner, how does it come out with the magazine?
I think with the magazines it's a different story than the catalog or commercial job. Either way, example, in the old days, everybody had a job. The photographer had his job, and everybody trusted the photographer. The makeup artist, the stylist. We went on trips, we shot for a week, we ziplocked half of the film, sent it by FedEx back then, in order to, in case we crash, or in case in the X-ray some film goes bad, we have backup. And we got here, the clients got the results 2 or 3 days later, and then they chose, and it was. Now everybody sees what's happening. Everybody, now we're on set. There is technology is there. Everybody is aware of what are you shooting, what's going on. Everybody has an opinion. Now, in order to, for me, I think a way of control. It's all about control. You need to control it without coming off as controlling, right? You need to control it in a way to say, okay, guys, everybody is part of this, but, right? In order for us to create something, you guys have to just, keep quiet. So it's definitely challenging. It's challenging. So
you discussed before also.
We discussed before. It becomes a collaboration, mostly for the catalog jobs. For the editorials, is definitely more free. We have a team. I get most of the time to work with my team. The team knows me. I know them. I trust them as much as they trust me. And we continue that way. We create something next. We create something. And I think as a photographer, as an artist, as a visual artist these days, in order to get your thirst quenched, you need to do creatives. You need to do creatives with people that you know, people that you trust, and just play. Just create great, like this, what we just did. Yeah.
We didn't talk about the people you like, the old photographers. But I see some Helmut
Yes,
Newton.
yes. I was very Helmut Newton, Avedon, Guy Bourdin. They were all very influential in my work because simply when I was growing up, that's what I was seeing. Right? The fashion magazines, most of the best fashion magazines or photo magazines, they were all showcasing their work. And yeah, this is exactly the example of when you grow up and you see somebody else's work in yours. That's.
Where was published that one?
This was also for Dress to Kill, and this is from the same Brooklyn/Montreal shoot.